Morning, guys. Bernie Albertson, Don Albertson, Samantha Albertson, B&D, and Anna Lee, full-time RV. Listen, I'm coming to you this morning just to have a little talk. We've been full-time RVers, as you know, for a long time. And I haven't been able to make any videos for some time. I've been laid up with sciatic nerve problems and my legs collapsed and things of that nature, but I'm getting better. And we have many adventures left to go. But I've received several comments recently about RVing, full-time RVing, from people that, like us, are just everyday, average people. And I thought I'd answer a question or two. My interest in this country started when I was very, very young. My father was in the service. And my mother and I used to get in an old Studebaker convertible and drive from Indiana to San Diego to see his ships when they'd come in, or we'd be on a train, old steamers, coal-belching steamers. I was on a train in Kansas when the people that worked on the train went on strike, and President Harry Truman ordered the military to take over the train system and drive them on to wherever they needed to go. Fortunately, that strike ended and we moved on. But I've received several comments about people dreaming of being full-time RVers. Now, I'm not a fancy person, and what I say is generally the only things that I can talk about are things that I've experienced. While I write books and do this and do that, I'm a pretty down-to-earth person. So I wanted to tell you about full-time RVing and just what it takes, at least for us. When you have the desire to full-time RV, you need to know that when you see these big 36 and 38 and 40-foot rigs going down the road, and you know that they cost well over $100,000, and you're driving an everyday type car, that the chances of purchasing something like that and traveling to see the country are pretty slim. But there's more to it than that. When you have an RV, I don't care what kind of an RV it is, and I don't care how old it is, and you're sitting in that seat driving down the road and you top a hill in Wisconsin or Illinois or North Dakota or South Dakota or Colorado or Arizona or Nevada or Alabama or Georgia or Mississippi or Texas, I don't care where you are. And that morning sun comes up when you top that hill and you look down there and you'll see a farm with a white farmhouse and a red barn, and the sun rolling out across the open ground, and maybe cattle and out there. Or you're in Colorado or Arizona or any of the mountain states, and you pull over amongst the trees that have been growing there for hundreds and thousands of years and stop. Even though there's a car that comes by occasionally, and you get out and you stand on the edge of that hill or edge of that plateau, and you look out over this beautiful country and you see the hills rolling on and on and on and on, and off in the distance you see mountains with maybe a little snow cap on them. You know that you're free. You know at that time what America is all about. You see, we read of these RV parks, for example, that if your RV is, say, over 4 years old or over 10 years old, they won't let you in. That makes no difference. There's state parks, there's national parks, there's small RV parks that you can get in anywhere. And so the age or the size of your RV makes absolutely no difference at all. The idea is freedom. The idea is that if you're living in an RV and, like me, you've had a mishap and your sciatica nerve is bad and your legs go bad for a little while and it's a slow process of getting better, you're still in the RV. And you know that as soon as you're able, you're going to turn the key on that engine and start out and take off. That's what freedom is about. You're not tied down. You're not nailed down. If your income is limited and you have some type of a retirement, whether it be a corporation retirement where you've worked for years, or whether it be Social Security, whether it be a 401k, whatever it is, it sets you free. You're not tied to the ground. You don't have to continue to pay huge property taxes or put new roofs on the house or whatever. There's a lot of people that enjoy that. I have a relation that loves owning property. They love having gardens. They love tending their orchard. They love going fishing in their boat. But RV life is different than that. RV life is freedom. Our RV is 12 years old. There's things that go wrong, and we have to have them fixed. But we go on. We go on because every time you go 100 miles or 50 miles, you're seeing something different. You're still free. You know, my mother was a traveler. She was 4'11" and loved to travel. And about 2 months before she died, I put her in the car and brought her to Arizona to see her sisters. And on the way, she told me, she said, "You know, Bud, I would rather die on the road seeing this country than die somewhere in a hospital or a nursing home shut in a room." Well, we came to Arizona. She saw her sisters. And on the way back to Indiana, she got sick. And in Pocahontas, Illinois, I had to pick her up out of her bed, put her in the car, and take her home. 3 weeks later, she was gone, but she was happy. So it's about freedom. If you decide to travel, it doesn't matter how old your unit is. It doesn't matter if you're in a van. It doesn't matter if you're in a pickup truck with a camper on it. It doesn't matter if you're an older Class C RV. It doesn't matter if you're in a $300,000 Class A. The idea is freedom. Allow yourself to dream. Allow yourself to look out over the horizon and know that although there's 300 million people in this country, that you're there at that moment looking at God's creation. That's what freedom is about. So this is heartfelt, and to those that write those beautiful comments, that dream of traveling and seeing this country, don't give up your dream. Don't give up your dream. If you're RVing and you get tired of it, or if you can't do it anymore, you can always find a place to stay. You can always rent an apartment. You can always rent a mobile home somewhere. You can always buy a mobile home somewhere. You can always buy a small house somewhere. But be free. Be free. I've stood on hills in Colorado and looked up and seen the eagles soar and heard them scream. I've seen fish jump in waters that I've never fished in. I've seen buffalo walking. I've seen moose. I've seen deer. I've seen antelope. So, allow yourself to be free. We only live one time. We only go down this road one time. There's no second chances. We all know that. So take what you've got. Follow your heart. Follow your mind. You don't have to do silly things, but there's nothing wrong with spending time in a state park or a national park. We've stopped at places, folks, that there's RVs there that are 30 years old, and those people are so happy. They're cooking out on a grill. They're sitting in lawn chairs. They're doing many things. They're meeting. They're drinking coffee. They're having a beer. They're just enjoying being free. And that's what RVing is all about. It's about freedom. So I'm going to close this out. I love you guys, and we'll get back on the road and get to showing you things before long. But you need to know, do what your heart tells you to do. Okay, we love you, and I'll see you later.